I'm Justine Morris, and you're watching Independence Update. The Mind, Body, Green Community Expo is a free event on Thursday, April 17th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Clarkson High School. The expo showcases the best of the best businesses and services in the Clarkson area, focusing on health, industry, wellness, green technology and initiatives, longevity, quality of life, nutrition, strength training, fitness, rehabilitation, and more. So come and check out your local businesses. Attention teenagers. On April 17th at the Mill Pond Park in Davisburg, there will be a teen flashlight egg hunt. Come search for eggs in the darkness of the night from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Door prizes, pizza, and beverages will be provided and awards will be given. A minimum number of participants are required to hold the event, so pre-registration is strongly encouraged but will be accepted at the door if minimum is met and tickets are still available. You must be 10 to 17 years old or 18 if you're currently attending high school. The price is $10 per person, and make sure you bring a flashlight. But families, don't fret. On the following day in Davisburg, Friday, April 18th, come out to Mill Pond Park's 16th annual Easter egg hunt and meet the Easter Bunny himself. Children will collect bright, colorful, candy or toy-filled eggs. Children must bring their own Easter baskets, and the hunt will be held rain or shine, so please dress weather appropriate. Parking is limited, and the egg hunts will begin promptly at 11 a.m. for children 4 and under and 2 p.m. for children 5 through 12. Please arrive a half hour early. Registration is required by 5 p.m. on Thursday, April 17th. Tickets will not be sold at the day of the event. Nothing marks the start of spring quite like garlic mustard. This invasive plant will completely take over the forest floor if given the chance. On Saturday, April 19th at 10 a.m., join the North Oakland Headwaters Land Conservancy on a beautiful preserve in Independence Township as we pull this prolific invasive species. Interested volunteers contact Katie Schumack at assistant@nohlc.org. The Clarkson Area Mothers and More is hosting their spring Mom-to-Mom sale on Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's $1 for entry or $2 if you'd like to enter the doors early at 8:30 a.m. Come see what's being sold at the First Missionary Church at 4832 Clintonville Road. Currently, there are still tables available, so if anyone's interested in renting one, they can email camm2msale@gmail.com. On Monday, April 21st and Wednesday, April 23rd, off-road vehicle training classes will be held at the Hart Community Center in Davisburg, taught by certified instructor Charles Comstock. Safety is a must with any motorized vehicle. This training is open to persons of all ages, but is required for students ages 12 through 17 who wish to operate an ORV, which include an ATV, motorcycle, or related 2-wheel, 3-wheel, or 4-wheel vehicle without direct adult supervision. It is a 2-day class including an exam. Upon successful completion of the program, students will be issued an ORV safety certificate. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 26th at 1 p.m. for an hour of puppetry. Digby Digs Deep is being presented by Once Upon a Puppet at the Clarkson Village Players Depot Theater. Digby is a happy dog whose greatest passion is digging holes. He's taken in by Lord Woofington, owner of the All Mammals Manor, at a home to the lost and stray animals. But when the manor falls on hard times, Lord Woofington holds an open house so that animals can showcase their special talents. If the animals find homes, then people will invest and keep All Mammals Manors going for many years to come. Things go awry when Mr. McNasty and his sidekick Nipper plan to sabotage the open house and make off with the Woofington family fortune. Can Digby save the manor from the unscrupulous pair? Will he be able to use his talent for digging to foil their devious plot? Find out in this story where we learn you should never judge a book by its cover, and by digging deep, we can uncover our hidden talents just like Digby. There's lots of fun characters, songs, and excitement for kids of all ages. Call 248-575-4104 or go online for tickets at clarksonvillageplayers.org. If you have a story or information you'd like for us to share on Independence Update, contact us at 248-623-3661 or email Matt Blow at mbleau@indetwp.com. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and please stay tuned for The Thread with Dr. Rod Rock and a special guest. Welcome to The Thread. We're here with Dr. Rod Rock and joined by Cameron Rasdar. Please tell us a little bit about what the students and staff have achieved recently.
I'm excited to be back, Justine. I wanted to tell you about a couple things. The first thing is we have a Future Problem Solvers team from the Clarkston High School, our junior high and our middle school, and they competed in a competition at the end of March. They did extremely well. It was at Michigan State University, and 4 of them, Delaney Brown, Karis Mance, Megan Nicholson, and Jillian Ritchie, finished first in the state, and they're going on to the national competition at Iowa State University in June, so we're super excited for them. And some of the teachers who work with them are Holly Cornice, Sue Banworth, and Lisa Crawford, and they do an outstanding job, so congratulations to them. And this past weekend, Team Rush had a really great competition in Ypsilanti at the state tournament, and Cam Razdar is here. He's one of the outstanding students in that program, and he's here to tell us a little bit about all that they've accomplished. So welcome, Cam.
Thank you for having me. With Team Rush, we went to the state championship this past weekend, and the state championship is where 63 of the best teams in Michigan compete to earn a spot at the World Championships. And Team Rush did extremely well. We were state champions. We won the entire competition. And we also won the Engineering Inspiration Award, which is half about engineering, half about inspiration, which it sounds like, but it's really about how the team gets the community inspired and engaged about science, technology, engineering, and math. So we won that award, which was very exciting, and what's really cool about that award is we had to give a presentation. And so 5 of our students were trained on how to give a presentation really well, and they were really developing some self-confidence and a lot of skills from that. A really cool thing, I was honored to receive the Dean's List Finalist Award, which is 8 students all across Michigan get this award, and I was one of them. And it's all about how you inspire members of your team, how you impact other teams across the world. So I was recognized by my mentors and then awarded with that award, which was very, very exciting.
Congratulations, Cam. That's so exciting. And I've had the opportunity to be around Team Rush and see the great work that they do. You've probably seen them in the summer as they float their cardboard boats out at the lake and have that competition, and as they put on the Holiday Lights Parade, and they do a tremendous amount of community service. It's a group of people who, they're not just about robots. That's a very small part of what they do. It's about leadership. It's about being on a team. They have 50-some members of their team, and maybe only 3 of them actually steer the robot, but everybody has an important role to play, and it's incredible how every single one of the students is so involved, even if they're up in the stands, if they're keeping stats on other teams, or if they're cheering, if they're painting faces. It's a wonderful group of people, and they're led by Kyle Hughes, who's one of the hardest working teachers you'll ever encounter. They're here almost every weekend throughout the fall and getting their robot ready. They work all summer long. They put in tremendous amounts of time raising money, working with various foundations, and they have many mentors who work with them all throughout the year, who many of them are former students, and they come back. And one of them is Steve Heyer, who's a member of our school board, and he was also a big part of that Inspiration Award. And the team won the Chairman's Award, I believe it was at a competition up in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, at the Duluth Regional.
Which qualifies them for the national award in the Chairman's. And that's really the most prestigious award you can win with robotics and FIRST Robotics. So we're just so excited for them and congratulate them on that outstanding achievement.
Yes. Yeah, and thank you for coming and joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Cam.
We'll be back after this. Welcome back. Dr. Rock, please tell us about the upcoming district and community events.
Yes, Justine, I'd like to highlight 3. 2 of them are happening this Thursday. The first is the Community Health Expo, which is in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. And at that expo, we'll have various vendors from the community who will be highlighting what they do in terms of health, exercise, and dieting. So there'll be lots of opportunities for community members to see what's available here in Clarkston. And then we're also having some highlights about the whole child things that we're doing with the Clarkston Community Schools. And I'm going to be doing a keynote address where I talk a little bit about the hopes I have for our school system and how I think learning should look and how it should feel. And then we're going to have some of our teachers and principals who will be doing some breakout sessions where community members can go in and kind of get the feeling and see directly what students are doing, how they're experiencing education, how we're going out about engaging students' minds. So my portion is at 5:45. The whole thing runs from 5 to 8 p.m. And there's no charge. We're hoping you'll come out and learn about healthy living, learn about our school system and how we're partnering. so many great things happening here, and we're really trying to alter the way kids experience an education. So we really want to share that with you. Another thing that's going on that same night is the Arts Gala at the board office. Starts at 6 o'clock, and we'll have student artwork demonstrated all around the high school, or I'm sorry, around the board office. You'll be able to walk around and see students' work. There'll be some video presentations of some of the art classes that we have here in our school system. So we hope you'll come out and support that wonderful activity with our students and our staff. And on April 25th, we have a community visit to Clarkston Elementary School, where again, people can come in and they can tour around the school, go into classrooms, and see how we're trying to engage our students' minds and get them thinking, make their thinking visible. That starts at 9:30 a.m. We really want the community again to know what we're trying to do and how we're re-envisioning education. So we hope you'll come out, any member of the community, and come into our school and see what's happening.
Great, thank you. What are some of the legislative happenings that might affect Clarkston?
Well, two things are going on right now, specifically, Justine. One of them I mentioned last week. It's the classroom and kids budget. And this is being talked about by various educational entities across the state who have really banded together to say, how can we use the existing resources, not add any more resources, not add any more money or ask for any more money from our taxpayers, but how can we use what's already there to really benefit local school districts and let them make decisions about how funding is used. So it's taking some of these categoricals, some of the things that the governor has referred to as best practices in terms of requiring us to do things, the agenda of our governor and our state legislature, and saying you can use those funds to go ahead and make decisions at the local level according to your needs. And because Clarkston has been so fiscally sound, we've been frugal, we've really done a good job with our finances and balancing our budget, working with our collective bargaining groups and making sacrifices. We really feel like we need those resources and to be able to decide how we can use them best here locally and not have the state dictate that to us. So we're hoping that the community will support that classroom and kids budget proposal. Please let your legislators know that you support it as it is. You can get more information on the internet if you Google that. And the other thing I wanted to mention is there's a lot of talk about teacher evaluation, and I understand that more and more educational groups are supporting the proposed legislation, and I just wanted to offer my opinion. I think that there are a lot of things we can do with teacher evaluation, and many of them are based on politics. They're based on test scores, and they're saying how students achieve in school is the only way we can evaluate that is based upon how the students do on the tests. These are tests that they take just a few times a year for a few days each year, and then we use those results and we overgeneralize those results, in my opinion. And what happens every day in the classroom in terms of how students grow from where they start all the way through their educational experience is really what I want to think about. And I want to talk about things like curiosity. And I heard some research on that just this morning. And I was at Leo's listening to my phone and something I heard on YouTube. And there was a researcher talking about how curious kids are when they're little. So they come to us and they're born into this world and they're super curious. That's how they learn. They look around. A newborn, an infant child would go into a room that's unfamiliar and just study the environment for 20 seconds and just look around and just take it in. And you can just see in their eyes how curious they are and how much they're learning. And then the researcher talked about how as kids are in preschool, they'll ask about 26 questions in an hour, which is an incredible amount. And you parents out there know how many times your children say why when they're really young, and often we even get sick of hearing that, you know, stop asking me why. But kids are so curious, and that's how they learn. And when they're curious about something, they learn more, they learn it deeper, and they remember it. So as kids get older, they ask fewer and fewer questions. And the researcher talked about how when they're in kindergarten, it gets down to around 5 questions every 2 hours. When they're in 5th grade, it's maybe around 1.5 questions every 2 hours. And so if we looked at our teacher evaluation systems, and we know that kids learn through their curiosity and through the questions they ask, what if the only thing we did is count the number of questions that students ask in a classroom? If we just went in and said, we're going to pay attention for the next 2 hours, how many questions do kids ask, And what kind of questions are they? Are they mostly recall questions, like what's the right answer? Who's doing the questioning? Is it one student who asked the question? Is it the teacher who does all the questioning? Is it a lot of different students? And if all we did was pay attention to just the questions that teachers ask, then we know that kids are learning based upon that research. We know that they're learning, and the test is an indicator of their learning. So something as simple as just paying attention to questions and giving teachers feedback on the questions they're answering or they're asking, the questions that kids are asking, is much more powerful to me than some outside teacher evaluation product that comes from a company that the state pays for and says, here's what you have to do, here's what's important. Well, we're experts in our own right here in Clarkston in terms of what we want for our teachers, the culture we want in our classrooms. And if we're allowed to evaluate those things more based upon the research and what we know as opposed to politics, I think that's much, much more powerful. And that feedback that teachers get is much more powerful. So I'm hoping that our legislators will not only pay attention to the people who come to them and tell them what they think things should look like based upon maybe the product that they produce and wanting to make money on those things, but also the educators, we as advocates for our own community. So those are a couple things that are happening legislatively that I hope people will pay attention to.
All right, thank you. Now, last time you were here, you told us about the red thread. Would you mind telling us some more of your thoughts?
Yes. Well, I did say a little bit about that in terms of the curiosity. I can go into a little bit more about that, and I'm going to say more about it on Thursday night when I have my opportunity to speak to the community. So an example of that red thread, this morning when I woke up, well, I haven't had power for 3 days in my apartment, so I started to think about, I don't have water, I don't have heat, it's cold, it snowed, and then I went to the office and I met with our fire chief, Ronk, and with Pat Kittle from the township, from Independence Township, and Jessica Kimmel, who works in our operations department. And we were talking about emergency preparedness for our community. What happens if there's a tornado, or if the power goes out like it did around Christmas time, and we don't have access for a long time, and what community resources are available in terms of our churches and our schools where people could go and get water, have heat, take their pets. How do we think about those things? So it's really the whole community working together via that red thread again about how we're connected. What if our phones go out? How do we communicate? What if we can't use a phone system? What if we can't use the internet to notify people that there's been some kind of tragedy? What do we do? What do we do with our senior citizens? So the school system plays a huge role in that, in our community, our fire department, all of our peacekeepers, our township. We have to work together, and we have to work to educate our students, just like Cam, who you saw a little while ago, and the contributions that they make from Team Rush, and our fire department, our township, and the services we provide, our school system. How can we work together to ensure that this is a community that's safe and that has values and that educates its children? So that's one small example of that red thread, and how we ultimately collaborate and look out for each other in this wonderful community of Clarkston.
Great, thank you. Thanks again for joining us for the thread.
Thanks for the opportunity.